We're
Is
It's a
live.
live counter?
Ant's gone.
and Ant's gone. Yes,
Do
it's
you
a live
no? Does
counter.
everyone
Oh,
see a live counter or am I
Yeah.
tripping?
I feel pressured now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I feel like we're on
seriously?
CNN.
Oh wait, if I check my messages, I
You
disappear.
do.
Yes,
Yes.
you do.
Just like
Uh,
FaceTime.
okay, but people can see us.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we're live streaming on the YouTube, as my mom would say. So,
Oh.
hi, everyone.
Hi.
Oh wait, we're live
We're
now.
live
Yes.
now.
Yeah, we
Yes.
are. There's a
Oh,
live
Professional
okay.
counter
faces,
and
folks.
everything.
I was checking which thing was visible. Uh, uh,
All
Okay.
right, Dracula.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Earth 2 Cast, where comic books and comic book TV is the norm. I got it. I'm back. It's still my
There you
show.
go.
So we are going to kind of pick up where we left off. You good, Mo? You all right?
I'm great. I'm
heard
great.
some bad news there.
Everyone's
Heard some bad
name
news
is
there,
like
Mo.
right there. I'm really tripping, so I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All
I'm
right, cool.
good.
So the usual suspects from last time are back. We got Mo, formerly known as owner of Earth 2.
El Presidente. There was a
We
coup.
have Ant,
Oh hey.
and we have Kris, because Ant is off in his own little world.
Hi,
Okay.
guys.
I need you to increase the baritone levels in this game. Increase the baritones.
I'm sorry. Let me check.
Hey, Chris,
Right,
can you
right
do
about
a
there.
greased up
Yeah,
deaf
yeah,
guy?
yeah. That's perfect right there.
Can you do a who?
Oh, the grease of that.
Greased up deaf.
Damn, you put me on the spot. Oh, you can't catch me.
That's it.
This is my payback for all the puns last time, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I've got more. I even made notes of the puns that I missed last time. So
I will break out the Mort voice.
okay, I'm sorry.
Right,
Never
all
mind.
right.
Okay.
Well, now I want to hear it.
No,
Not
just-
on air.
he just talks about his dwarfnum and stuff.
Whoa.
Uh,
Oh man, you got a beer? I should get a beer. Hold on. I mean, y'all
That's-
continue. I'm just gonna pour a beer while y'all talk.
it's not a beer though.
So
But-
whiskey and
This is
something.
so ghetto.
This is
So
really
hood.
trifling. This
It's
is
ghetto. It's
extra
gotta be
ratchet.
wine.
So-
Should I
He's
drink
getting up to
wine
good.
instead?
Okay.
we are
so,
live. Sir.
we are-
This is a
we are
Wendy's, sir. This is a Wendy's.
So I figured what we could do is I went through and printed out. I went through and printed out a synopsis of or a little rundown of every episode. So I'm just not looking at Ant.
I mean, it's all in the fridge.
Okay,
They
let's just
follow
wait
the
for
camera
Ant.
like
That's what
a-
we're just gonna just wait for Ant.
Yeah.
No, what? I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, but you're looking like a
'Cause we can see
'90s
you.
Missy's
And
video.
we
Like,
are
I
live,
can't
sir.
stand the rain. You just all
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stand a little.
Are you gonna do
Stand a
the
little.
Spike Lee thing too?
the float.
I love that effect. You're just walking over. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. I'm
Oh,
good.
Okay, so I know we kind of already discussed a little bit of episode 1, but I figured just for organization and continuity's sake, I would just go back and kind of read a little bit of what.
What? I'm here.
Keem,
I'm
if
here.
you don't mute Ant, like
Okay, wait. I'll
Is
mute.
that
I'll
an
mute.
option? Oh, that is an option. Ooh,
there you go.
there's
There you go.
control. Okay, but he muted himself, so we're cool. So yeah, so we're just gonna go through episode by episode and talk about what we thought about the highlights of the episode and the different characters, blah blah blah, as we've done so many times before. So
Blah blah blah.
blah blah blah. Just for the folks who are joining in, this is Earth 2, and we are about to discuss or do our second discussion on Amazon's new show, The Boys. Last show we really ran down the characters and kind of jumped around with what are you
Oh,
because you are
sorry.
still seeing 5 minutes in and we're still not anywhere near talking about what we're going to talk about. Okay, so episode one is called The Name Game. And the summary is after his girlfriend Robin is killed from a high velocity impact by a celebrity superhero A-Train racing to deliver a package, Huey Campbell suffers mental trauma A-Train's lawyer offers $45,000 for Huey's silence, which he hesitates to accept. Des Moines native Annie January auditions as Starlight and is accepted to join the Seven following the retirement of the Lamplighter. Upon visiting Seven headquarters, she is greeted by her favorite hero, the Deep, who coerces her into giving him oral sex. So we'll stop there and just kind of talk about that little section first, because whoever did this on Wikipedia really did like a thorough one sentence of everything that happens in the episode.
Every scene and then she was bent over the toilet, and then she...
So I think one of the things that I forgot to say the last time that it kind of slipped my mind was Annie / Starlight's big mistake was doing the whole, I always had the biggest crush on you. Like, nothing good ever comes, well, unless you actually want to bone that
Something
person.
did come.
You're not stealing my shine tonight. KRS. It's already started. Yes, but so they're having that conversation where it's really disappointing, because the Deep actually seemed like a decent person, because he brought her in and he showed her around, and she was kind of voicing her doubts, like, I can't believe that I'm actually here. And he's like, we all felt like we weren't worthy to be here, and we all felt like we were frauds. You'll get the hang of it. And he just seemed like a real decent person. And then he was like, yeah, I bet you had a poster of Homelander up on the wall. And she's like, no, actually, it was you. You were my crush. And then she turns around, and this dude is there stroking his dick. Like, it's not going to suck itself.
Pants around the ankles
that
and
was
everything.
the part that tripped me out. He
was
was
like,
dead ass
what?
stroking.
Can I ask a question? Is there anything attractive about the pants around the ankle thing from
Never.
Because it never.
I think the Me Too era showed us that no, there's nothing. Ask what's that comedian again?
Aziz Ansari?
Louis?
No.
Louis
yeah,
CK?
Louis
Oh,
CK.
Louis CK.
Yeah, ask him how that turned out for him.
Not well for any of them.
But homie was out there stroking his fish stick. Like, I
like what you said.
Fish
and
stick.
you know what's funny? Because he still had on his little arm things with the
gauntlet,
the fins hanging off of it. So like those are just flapping back and forth.
But I felt interesting.
It gives some aerodynamics.
What I felt interesting about that was, like, a lot of sexual assaulters, it was more about his weakness than anything about her, because you found out later that he's very insecure about his own position. And I'm not gonna mention the comic, but again, like, it's more about, right. It's more about he wanted power for somebody. He saw that as sexual conquest is power, right? And again, think of the lie he told is that I'm the second most important hero.
Here.
Yeah, right.
Real
and so,
quick,
again,
I was gonna suggest that we all get shots for every time Anthony says.
I'm not gonna mention the comic.
No, we're gonna die.
We're gonna die.
Look, we're gonna die. Everybody will have alcohol poisoning.
Because I was thinking about it, like, man, I was probably that 1 hour. I was probably 1 hour, that 2 hours. So, but no, I thought it was very cool that they showed how vulnerable he was, and think about the ego you need the ego gratification you're trying to feel, to have to trick somebody and lie to them about your position in life to have some kind of connection. And I don't know, I thought it was a very interesting character dynamic between them.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I actually did think that he is very insecure. Even in that moment where he goes, oh, by the way, I'm number 2.
Right.
I mean, nothing about him says number 2, just because he happened to be there. Nothing about him said number 2. So I was just like, all right, whatever. Because in my mind, I would think maybe Lady Maeve would be number 2, because she's Wonder Woman. So she would be number 2 because she's closest to him. But I did not think he was number 2. I just thought he was using that as a, hey, if you try and get something, you're going to eat this fish stick.
Right.
That's what I thought he was trying to get at.
The moment he said, oh, I bet you had a poster of Homelander, I guess, that showed us insecurity. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it right there.
Yeah. And if you think about it, is the number 2 person really going to be doing tours around the facility?
Maybe Tech Night, because we've never seen him, so we could go. But to say of who we've seen, the 7 that we've seen, I would give my number 2 to Lady Maeve.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
I think they're collectively number 2, except for Noir.
Because they're all shit.
Yeah, like
that's why they're number
there's
2. They're all shit.
Like there's no number 2. It's just Homelander and
everybody else. Yeah.
Everybody else.
And there's Black Noir on the side.
Because if you're not first, you're last.
Right. And I think that I think that but look at that personality, and we see it a lot. We see it a lot in stars and singers and athletes. Like, what are you still trying to prove? And some of them still have that insecurity that leaks out into other parts of their life that makes their lives more difficult. And then again, like you see that, like people you think are successful. How many people do? Like, I'm sure we all know somebody who outwardly people are like, wow, they got it all going on, but personally how they're just holding it together. Just based on their different self-esteem issues. So I mean, I think that was really relevant. And I also thought it was really great for people like to go into those situations that might be getting coerced into, like, tricked into, well, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that. You can't do this.
Yeah, and that was really the only ace in the hole that he had, was because as soon as her eyes started glowing and them TV started blowing out in the background,
he got shook.
She was like, fuck you just say to me? And he's like, I mean, okay, you can do this crazy thing, but then I'm going to tell everybody that you just flipped out, which is like another thing. I guess the tides are kind of turning now, but you think about how women have always historically had the reputation for being crazy, hysterical. Like, she just flipped out on me for no reason. She's such a bitch. Like, even if you're just...
She must be on her period.
She crazy. Oh, she was crazy. And I always ask, what did you do to make the other person you're calling crazy? Like, what happened that led to the crazy behavior? Also,
really, there's a reason.
Did y'all have y'all watched Euphoria at all?
Not yet.
It's a lot of dicks.
It's really,
I heard about.
But it's some really real stuff that's going on there. And the main character was talking about, like, when somebody asked her about her sexual experience, and she ran down like, well, I did this one thing once with this guy, and I gave 2 blowjobs, and one was coerced. And the guy was like, well, look, you might also give me a blowjob, because if you don't, I'm just going to tell
everybody you did.
You gave me a blowjob, and let everybody know. Or you can give me a blowjob. I got it. He was like, if you give me a blowjob, I just won't say nothing. So I mean, like, think about the situation, because you have to worry so much. Especially as a female, you got to worry so much about your sexual reputation and your sexual purity, which they also put later on in the Jesus conviction episode. They put so emphasis on, if you're not pure, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We're gonna get there.
They weren't asking Homelander that stuff. Stuff.
You can curse. Why are you?
Oh,
are we censored?
I'm so glad.
Like, why are you censoring yourself?
Are we censored this episode?
Like 8 times already.
Did you just beep yourself?
I realize we're cussing a lot. I'm trying to tone it down for the children.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
Well, I ain't got no kids, so I'm
really not. I'm really not. Fuck it.
I tell you right now.
Nobody give a fuck about them kids.
Right. Fuck them kids. So from my little personal notes here, because one of my work homies gave me this neat new thingy to take notes in, so I was like, I'm gonna use this. It says "Love a Good Scandal." It's a journal from the Watergate Hotel. So
are they selling those? That's awesome.
I think they give them away when you, like, do tours and stuff. So
that's kind of awesome.
It is awesome. So I also found it interesting that this has probably been the norm for as long as he can remember, but after A-Train demolishes his girlfriend, all of a sudden Hugh notices, like, how much this nigga is around. Like, he goes to get beer and he looks up and A-Train is on one of the cans, and then he turns around and there's like a cutout of A-Train by the register, and then he looks up and A-Train's on TV, and the dude is reading a magazine with A-Train on the cover, and he's just like...
His room in his daddy's house?
And his room is just
posters,
wall
toys,
rare collectibles of H.
What I also thought was interesting and hilarious is that the superheroes are making movies. Like,
starring in the movies.
And starring in the movies. And I was just like, but, I mean, I know why, because money, but also... Right. But why? Like, everybody already idolizes you because of the stuff that the supposed good stuff that you do around the neighborhoods and everything, but now you need movies to have them like. It just seems like in that universe, it's 24-hour superhero.
Yeah,
I
I
wonder
think
if there
that's the
are
whole point of it.
like I wonder if there are sports teams. Did we see any sports team like merchandise or references in that?
I swear
Not
they
really,
did. Wasn't it?
but there was a stadium. There was a
Yeah.
stadium, where they did the race.
Oh,
But
you're
I
right.
didn't really see a sport. Yeah, there was.
Mhm.
There wasn't. It didn't say home of New York Giants or anything. So I guess whatever. But real question, right? Are the superheroes the actors of those movies, or
we know
do they
Popclaw
source
was.
out to actors?
I think
Yeah, it's a
I
good-
think they were the actors.
Popcorn.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty
Popcorn
sure they
was
were the
doing-
actors because remember when they all came in and they were sitting around the table having their meeting and Translucent was pissed off because somebody bootlegged his movie 3 weeks early.
Yes.
And so I think he said something like that's costing it costs VOT like $1.3 billion every time somebody bootlegs a movie and it gets
Mhm.
released early. They lose out on that. So
Right. And he's talking about how much points he gets, and they're like, "Wait, you get 40%? Yeah,
and he's
40
like,
points."
I get everybody gets 4 points, right? And A Train is like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get 4. But none of those movies beat Avengers Endgame. I just say that.
How do you know, man? How do you know?
We're not in that
Because
world.
she announced in the same
Oh,
announcement
the
where
money.
she
Yeah.
announced Starlight. Yeah, she was like, our latest movie just grossed $1 billion. I was like,
Wow.
Like,
You're really paying
Still-
attention.
still
Like
right?
you really made that
still ain't
connection.
beat Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Still ain't beat Endgame though. So
Did it beat
MCU,
Avatar?
That's the only real thing. But it seems like that's the only game in town, though. Like it seems like superheroes are the only game in town.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, there's no celebrities or,
Wow,
like you
that
said, sports
sucks.
team.
Like,
And there's 1,000.
That's
There was like
horrible,
1,000 something in Vault America or Vault, whatever national.
Yeah. I think they pretty much had a hero for each state, or was trying to have a hero for each state and each town.
yeah, they were trying to have a hero for each state or town or something.
Which is
I
why
think
they
that's
were
what they were
pitching
trying
for
to do with the
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
They put a
And
big
it's
guy
so
in the
funny.
middle of the country.
What was the name of that CEO? Black Prince or Nubian Prince?
Nubian
Oh,
Prince,
right.
Black Panther.
Hey, but I was about to say, isn't it funny how because it's Baltimore?
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
that was not like.
And she said, she's like, yes, he caters to your demographic.
It was
I
your
like,
demographic.
fucking minute.
And then, but what was hilarious was, and she's like, and the white people love him too.
Right?
They ain't shit.
And they said like 300
and
mil.
then
They said 300 mil or something like that.
Yeah, she wanted 300 million.
Our
If you
school
don't know,
systems.
350. If you don't want him, we're gonna give him to Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Like, it was just
Atlanta.
like Baltimore
Atlanta.
and ATL. Like,
And mind you,
what?
he was currently in Detroit.
Detroit, like,
Right.
Oh,
So he was probably like, hey, can I be the superhero of Beverly Hills? They were like,
No.
Nah.
They don't like you that much, homie.
maybe
What
South
about
Central?
Stay away from our white women.
Can I get Florida?
Maybe
And
What part of
No.
Florida?
And you got
Maybe
to
Dade
get
County.
rid of that white girlfriend you got. She's light skinned.
No, we're gonna need her to be darker.
We need a version of Storm.
Right.
Oh, and as I usually do, I went back and started since I had time. I went back and started rewatching some of the episodes. So in that first episode, one of the things that I missed when Madeline was in there talking to the guy from Baltimore, and he's like, "No, you're gonna bring that price down a little bit," and she's like, "No, we're not," and he's like, "Well, I know about Compound V." And as he says that, if you look in the background through the window,
You see Homelander fly by.
Homelander is flying by. Like,
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, how did he even know that? But yeah, because this nigga was like flying outside the window.
Oh, he's probably
Sleeping on his
spying on her all the time.
girl.
Every time a man goes into her office, he's probably like, "What's that? Let me."
He was probably in space listening. He's like, wait, she's near a man.
You know what?
Let me
You know what?
go check
Give me
this
them
out.
drawers. You know what's gonna give me them drawers finally? I kill him.
Right.
They all know about the 7. All know about Compound V, right?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that. We know that A Train
Because-
does. We know that Homelander does.
Homelander does.
We don't know about anybody else.
Don't know if Maeve and
Deep.
the Deep.
The Deep is just so
sure
far to himself.
No,
man.
the Deep knows.
No, the Deep
Not
knows.
the Deep. No, Translucent knows.
Translucent definitely
Yeah,
knows. I think the
Translucent
Deep knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably
I think-
common knowledge, but it's just one of those things they don't really
They don't talk
about.
Right.
Like on sports teams, when you know your homie is like juicing, but
because even in
y'all
the
are
meetings, even in the meetings, Homelander was talking to. This is jumping ahead. He was talking to Starlight, about Huey, and he turns. It's like, oh, what is talking to freaking the fast dude, Flash. Yeah, A-Train. A-Train. He's just like, oh, your head must be still mixed up with the drugs and stuff. So and nobody really batted an eye because they're like, yeah, he's a crackhead.
But and you know what? And if you think about it, everybody has like so many ego issues on that team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't get to really talk too much about Translucent, but I mean, he's jerking off people in the bathroom.
We talked about him just hanging out in the bathroom.
They were okay with it,
right?
And Lady Maeve, because I think Lady Maeve was in the bathroom with Starlight that first day when she threw up.
Yeah.
And she was like, here, wipe yourself off or whatever.
Like, clean yourself up. Get yourself together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering.
Don't let them see you like this.
I'm wondering when
and she walks out. And then Translucent kind of shows himself. And it's like,
no.
She tells him.
She called him out. Like, I know you're sitting there.
Right. Like, she's not used to it. Like
no problem. Like, no issue. Like,
it's an everyday thing.
Right. Like,
and this is why when he was missing, she was like, oh, he's probably in a bathroom somewhere.
That's his jam.
I think someone said it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's probably in a bathroom somewhere just jerking off. And it's like, you guys are supposed to be superheroes. Like, your boy is like kind of perving out, right? Like,
I also
but you're going to call out the black dude with the drugs, but you're not going to call out the white guy perving out.
I mean, but he was already dead.
I'm not trying to be woke.
I mean, the black guy in the drugs kind of ran through a chick, so.
Yeah, I mean, he was messing up a lot.
He ran through a white girl, too.
Right? Was
she white?
National. Yeah. No, she wasn't. She was black.
She was caramel. She was caramel.
Andy's girl is white, bro. She's white.
Yeah, his girl is white, yeah.
But I wonder what...
so he's running through girls all day.
But I wonder what first turned Lady Maeve bitter, because in the flashback when her and Homelander were dating, like, she seemed okay in that party. And then later on, when it was just him and her talking, he was like...
You're jumping.
I wonder why we broke up, and she gave a look like there's a story behind that. So I'm really curious about what went on there, because
I can answer that in a sentence, because that nigga's crazy.
Okay, he's an asshole.
I mean, amen to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's possessive. He's very needy.
Stalkerish.
And she probably was like, he's stalkerish, and she's like, no, because she was probably like, yo, my little girlfriend on the side real quick. Like, he's good.
I'm going to say I'll probably be insecure too if I turn out to be the fish guy out of a superhero team. Like, we all got powers, and I got gills.
I can swim and I can talk often.
You remember when they went to do the patrol thing, and he was like, they never give me any like real missions. All I get is missions by the water.
By the water, yeah.
So I can do my nice little dive.
And he's like, it's so demeaning and degrading. And I'm like, nigga, you made her suck your dick. Are you really sitting here complaining to her about them demeaning and degrading you?
Right. Then he turned to her and was like, what? What's that face about?
What's your problem? Are you still mad about that thing the other day?
I mean, that dick was last week. What the?
Why you bringing up old dick?
But I also wonder if those criminals in the warehouse were real, because she said something about how, like, we're gonna arrest them. What's going on with them? So I wonder if all the criminals they take down are like hired thugs or
like actors.
Yeah, except for Homelander, because I guess you only get that job once because he just disintegrates.
There are no recurring roles when you fuck with Homelander.
Did anyone ever talk about how in the very beginning of the show Homelander picks up a guy and just goes?
Oh, tosses him into a car? Yeah.
Just tosses him into the car.
Yeah.
And then
the minute I saw that, I was like,
taking selfies.
Damn, that's brutal.
And then niggas is like, oh, can I get a selfie? Can I get a selfie? Wait a minute. Nobody did you just all miss what just happened?
That's their norm, though.
Everybody said I was hating when Superman ran through a guy through 3 walls.
Look, okay, you keep talking about that, but that man deserved it.
What?
He had a gun to his chick.
Listen, you let somebody put a gun
And
to
that's
my
why y'all
head.
deserve Homelander.
Let somebody be holding me hostage.
And when you're a god, I can just stop the
I think
bullet and arrest them.
You don't learn that way,
what makes
Ant.
that so polarizing is
He
because of
did,
Superman,
Keem.
though.
Somebody gonna learn from that
Oh,
lesson.
that man is drinking. That man is drinking his food through straws now. But listen,
No, he did.
like Lady Mae stopped that truck with her body, and you know what I love about the show is, in every other superhero like movie, TV show, whatever, a dead ass strong man will stand in front of a truck and just stop it, and you won't see the momentum of the truck like go forward. It's like they just stop it. But on the show, when Lady Mae jumped in front of that truck, you saw her go through the truck because again, she is the immovable object. The truck is the one moving forward, and you see the momentum of the truck carry forward, and you see her go through the truck.
Right.
And I thought those visuals at that point was very awesome because
Right.
that is something we don't see a lot of in like superhero media. Because again, it's like they want to show this. You know, it's funny. That goes to show if you go back to the plane episode and Homelander is like, what if I jump out and like try to stop the plane and just go right through it? It's the physics of it is awesome.
Physics, bitch.
Yeah, they really played with real physics in this one.
Can we
No,
just
they
take
really
a
did, and I love
second
it.
to really talk about
Sometimes-
that club scene when
Hey, my man Ezekiel though.
look,
Hey,
not just
Nah.
Ezekiel. When I went back and watched the second time, I was like, my God.
They got that expanse sex on with no gravity up in the air. I was like, yeah.
That was the Magicians.
Oh, Magicians too, and also
Yeah.
the Expanse.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I don't watch The Expanse, but yeah. So like, you had the folks flying in the air, like the dudes were just flying and the women were riding them, and it wasn't just like one set of people. You look and it's like rows of people fly fucking, and then you're like, oh, okay. Well, I mean that happens, and then all of a sudden there's like the little nigga that just dives into the woman's
pussy?
delta. Okay, I wasn't gonna use
yo,
that
There's
word on air.
There's a
mean,
Marvel comic. There's a Marvel comic like that where Ant-Man and the Wasp, like Ant-Man shrinks down, and then like they're having this conversation. He comes out the cover as he's small, and he's like, "Oh, your turn." It's like, oh, because they can both shrink and grow.
I don't want to think of Ant-Man.
Go.
What is she doing?
Where is she going? Hey, did she
Hey.
I have questions.
2019, I asked no questions.
Look, man,
his ass.
she was like,
She
she's like
wouldn't
a
eat the
finger.
booty.
She was like a finger. I got more than a finger.
Never mind.
And but homie said, and what I love about him, like he had a running start. It wasn't just no like let me fall
Right.
into the evil, though.
Like he was all the way at
jumped.
the other end of the table. It was like, and then you see the woman just like, and I'm
Like, ma'am,
like, okay.
sir, people, calm down.
I mean, does he take an oxygen tank with him? How hold can he hold his breath? Like,
Hey, maybe he has gills too.
I mean, the raw compression. Look,
yes, and then you get to Ezekiel, who is he's like, isn't he like the Christian hero? And then all of a sudden you see him like getting head while stretching all the way across the room to make out with two other dudes to give them both hand jobs at the same time. I gotta commend that man for his multitasking. But
I have a question. Was it a woman that went down on him and then he went to the guys?
Does it even matter?
I was just curious. Was he?
I think it was a woman that went down on him, and then he went and
it was a woman,
around.
and then he went to go give the blowjobs. Yeah, I mean not the blowjobs, the hand jobs.
The reach around.
And it's so
the
call
ultimate
it by its
reach
right
around.
name, Mo.
Right.
Call it by its right name.
It's awesome,
reach
man,
across.
because
The reach across.
when he goes across, when he folds his body to go across, you technically see his midsection go up and down, like
Right,
the lady's
just
still working,
pulsing.
like it doesn't stop. It doesn't
Shout out to
stop.
her breath control.
Bruh.
Right? Or not. Maybe she's a soup that doesn't breathe.
The
Look,
sucker.
If you're a groupie that hangs around
Alright,
the
so-
superhero club, you gotta be ready for everything. You
So
gotta be ready for
question: Were
everything.
those all soups? Were those all soups or just soups and fans? Like say like a vampire club, how it would be like vampires and like human beings.
I feel like it could be soup
Yeah, I think
and
it's a
like
mix.
groupies.
Yeah, I think it was a mix. I think it was more like there's
It'll
celebrities.
be dope. Yeah, I think it should be. Yeah, it should be Soups and Groupies because if it was just all Soups, it'd be kind of weird.
Right.
Because I also kind of feel like a lot of soup relationships are not going to work out. Like I feel like you can't have that much ego and celebrity and it
And date
lasts.
another one. Yeah,
Yeah, the
which is
power
probably
trip.
what happened to Homelander and Maeve.
Right. And I also kind of feel like Homelander probably has some sexual issues too. And so
Yeah, we
Uh,
saw that later.
that
Yeah.
is very much
Yeah,
confirmed.
very evident.
yeah. And I would also think that the only thing I call bull on is you can't have that many like groupies in that place and nobody knows about this. Like there's not one like
MDA, man.
like
NDA. So, the other thing that I noticed, and I'm not quite sure how to articulate it, there's some kind of comparison between Huey's dad and Annie's mom,
Hmm.
because just as hard as Annie's mom was like pushing her, like, yes, you're gonna be Starlight. You've been training all this time. You got this. I don't want to hear shit about your problems. All I want the world to know is that my daughter is Starlight. And then Hugh's dad won't even let him file a fucking lawsuit to avenge the death of his girlfriend. He's like, you're not this person.
Mm-hmm.
You're
You're a
not
pussy.
strong enough. Yeah.
you
Straight
take
up
the
call him a
scraps
pussy.
they give
You come from a
take-
long
Right.
line of pussies.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I'm
you
a
take-
pussy. Your grandfather was a pussy. Your great great
damn.
grandfather was one. Just sit down and
You're a
have some
pussy.
pizza
Your
rolls.
first son about to be a pussy. So
We're so
Have
pussy.
some-
We're surprised we found pussy.
Matter
Like-
of fact, you don't have a mom. You were just
I birthed you.
Wow.
I birthed you. I like the quip Huey put in there about being compared to a pussy. That was like, to take a pound. I mean, it's an old joke, but I like it. It was in the media somewhere.
Mhm.
Like, I don't see how that's an insult. Pussy takes a pounding. It's really
Well, they-
adorable, flexible. Or
I don't
No
remember
one knows what I'm
Huey
about?
saying that.
Yeah.
was that in my mind?
No, it was in the episode.
Oh, thank you,
He's
Kris.
telling Billy. He's telling Billy, he's like, why is it you always call us twats and cunts? But those are real flexible and they take a pounding.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well,
Brilliant.
you'll be the
He's like-
best twat
and
you can
then
be.
he's like- yeah, he's like, you're a good cunt. Or
You're a good
some,
cunt.
Some sort of. I was like, huh? Like, what? Wait.
Which surprisingly is
Okay.
that the C word is a word I feel is really word. Like, I don't know. That's the word I can't use.
Really?
I
Wow.
know, right? It's surprising.
I break
What
it out at
word?
least twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Cunt?
I
yeah.
drive in DC traffic. I use it every
Nice.
day.
Really? Like, I
Wait, you
feel
really
like that's
like?
You gotta
above
save
a
it for somebody
bitch.
special.
Like, I feel like it's above a bitch. Like, I gotta do
Like,
some
no.
Nah.
really good. Like, you gotta do some shit. To
I
get
throw
to
that
it.
shit like a Hadouken.
Kame.
Oh man, that took a lot out of me.
With the hard T at the end. With the hard T.
Exactly. I had to go flying across
so-
the room like, oh.
I was talking to somebody. At my job, right? So they said, like, you could be arguing with a white woman about anything, and as soon as you say that word, like, she could say anything out of her mouth to you,
Mm-hmm.
but you say that to her, and you may have just signed
It's a
your
problem.
It's
death
their
warrant.
N-word.
Yes.
It's
And
their
I'm like,
N-word, man.
she just called you all types of N words, and you just,
Oh, man.
stupid.
Is it the white in me? Is it the white in me that feels the
That
Maybe,
could be it.
that is. That is.
All right. That makes sense.
Okay.
Mhm.
So 2 more thoughts I had about episode 1, and then we'll continue on. So, and me and Kris had talked about this when we were watching. The song that they play during the scene where Billy is dropping Huey off at the headquarters so that he can go in and do his thing. It reminded me of Immigrant Song, the song that they play at the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. No, nobody, nothing.
Nobody?
Yeah, yes. Okay, Mo knows it.
Mhm.
So you might have to go back and re-listen to that later. But I was like, were they doing that on purpose, or were they doing it just because it's a cool song that seems like it would be great for espionage, or were they doing
That
that
moment.
because a
Mhm.
lot of action movies use that immigrant song either in the trailer or in the movie during heavy action stuff or when they're about to ride into battle? Okay, dead point.
Sorry. Like,
I feel you. I feel you on the music.
like, I'm, so
I'm here
sorry,
with you.
but
I'm
know,
here with you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I think you get it.
It's cool. It's cool. And then the last thing, I was just cracking up about how when Translucent goes in to off Huey and he's like making this speech about we're the seven, I'm translucent, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, I'm the champion of the innocent. And as he's yelling it, he's holding this TV
TV to fuck him up.
overhead
Yeah.
to throw onto Huey. And I was like, man, this show is just
Just irony everywhere.
laced with irony. Like,
I'm the
ugh.
champion of the
What's
fucking
also
innocence.
really
Like, damn,
funny
son.
about that is, why was Translucent so mad at the listening device? Like,
Because it's a
I get
violation.
it's a bad
Yeah.
thing. But yo, it's not the worst. Yours, you know,
But
Ego,
to-
man. You said it. Ego.
No,
Ego.
that's a
violation.
terrible
Like-
thing though, because
Mhm.
you have a listening device within this place where all of the suits feel like they can speak candidly and off the record without the public eye being in there.
Yeah. Their reputation.
But then you say something like,
Fuck
you have the
it.
deep
Well,
in there,
off that
like,
bitch.
yeah, I got Starlight to suck my dick. And then, like, now that's getting out. And the public gets a hold of that. Or you find out about A-Train's drug problem, or you just find out how much of a fucking psychopath Homelander is.
Homelander is.
Right, because the one thing they care more about money is their reputation, right?
Because their reputation is money.
And that's
But
their only
isn't Vought
validation.
like a spin? Isn't Vought a spin company? Like, I just feel like they can spin anything. And
Right,
it's
well,
okay, A-Train
But
has a drug
you still
habit,
don't
so
want that
it's
getting
spun
out there.
into something very positive.
But that's a good point. You get away with something
I
enough
guess.
times, you think you can go into a convenience store and just murder people, and Vault's going to cover it up, right? Because that's probably not the first person A-Train ran into and killed. You know, it wasn't
not.
like an
That's probably. There was a whole group, and you think that's the only group in the city? That's not the only group in the city.
so
But so to fully answer your question of not even like Vought spins things, so that's what they do. You don't want to piss off Homelander because
Yeah.
Homelander.
okay, you say that
Okay.
now because you don't have that nigga with the laser eyes looking you in the face. But
No.
I think you cool, Homelander.
Right.
Well,
You good, bro? You good?
By the
okay.
way, this is Earth 2 Chemic ass Homelander. If you out there,
Oh, really?
this is Keem's show.
That's what we doing? All right.
This is
Cool,
Keem's
cool.
Under the bus.
Damn.
Oh,
Threw me right in front of
Lord.
A-Train. Okay. So, and then I think last one we covered how Billy and Huey took down Translucent. So in episode 2, it says Butcher and Huey take Translucent to Frenchie, who makes a meta bullet to pierce his diamond hard skin, but it ricochets and tears the room's RFID concealment. Butcher turns to the CIA department. So he goes to his homie to ask for help, and she's like, "Get the fuck out of my house. I can't help you. You messed up too much before." Stillwell tells Homelander about the evidence the Deep found incriminating him for the plane crash. So she handles the evidence while he talks to the Deep. That was a scary scene.
Yo,
When Homelander
has
called that
scared me
meeting.
so much. Homelander has scared me so much when he's talking to these heroes because I'm like, yo, he's going to kill one of them. That I don't think
swore he was
going
gonna
to
kill that dude.
I don't think I was as scared when he was talking to the Deep as as scared I was when he was talking to
And,
when he was
Starlight.
talking to Starlight,
And I
that was horrifying.
and I think it's because Starlight is like super innocent, like she's the good one, kind of sort of.
She did
And
nothing
so
to
it's
deserve
like-
that.
She exactly. The Deep is an asshole, so I didn't really care. I'm like, fuck you, die. Like, you just violated this chick on her first date. Like,
Right.
I don't care. But
But-
no, like he's very scary. And then even when he told A-Train, like, yo, get off that shit. Like, it was so cold. Like,
hmm
you're done with that, right?
Yeah, and number one, if you don't win this race, you're out. Number
Yeah, it
two, get off the shit. Like, but I need the shit to win the race. So what I'm supposed to do? Okay, so the night Starlight teams up with the Deep. She promises to kill him the next time he tries to sexually assault her. at a charity event. Oh man, this scene right here. So the scene where they're having that charity event, and Madeline is trying to butter up the senator because she wants him to get yes on like making the Seven a part of the military.
Listen.
Man.
Listen.
Man.
The faces right now.
Hey, that is the violent. Oh no,
That. My
You're gone too far, man. You're gone too far.
So I don't judge. I don't judge.
I'm judging the fuck out of her. Him.
No, that is a judge.
That's
a
a judge.
hard judge.
And it's a shapeshifter. It's a shapeshifter. You don't know. Like Mystique turned into a man or a woman. You don't know.
That
right?
was violation.
Nobody's. Well,
No.
I'm judging the senator for like probably he paid for his hooker or whatever and thought he was gonna do that shit in private after
was the
he just told
bartender.
somebody. Oh,
That was the bartender.
Yeah, that was the bartender.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Remember when she was like, get him a Macallan?
I was like,
I was like, is that code? It's like, yeah,
Oh.
get him a Macallan 25, and then next scene.
so Macallan 25.
Yeah, because he's like, it's whiskey's whiskey.
When he said this
It's
feels
too rich for my
different.
blood.
Yeah, when he said this feels different, I was like, oh,
like, no.
oh.
That is so
Oh.
disrespectful.
Even-
So in my
so-
mind, wait, okay, like
He didn't feel the
quick
dick on
question.
his
So,
stomach.
like, what happened when? Because okay, so if he was a woman at first, right? When in
How did it?
Oh, your stomach in the
Giant.
mouth.
Okay, no, no,
No, like-
I'm not doing this.
Am
I'm
I
not
the only
doing-
one that thought this? Am I the only one that thought this? When
I
he
thought
was a woman at first and went in the vagina, and then when he became a man, where did it go? Where did it
Like,
go?
look. I get what walls they changed into. Like, I get that part. But then
Son.
that means it was just like, Frank and beans resting on your stomach.
Or
This feels different.
or is a shapeshifter good enough to just shapeshift their whole body and not that part of
Because
your
that
body?
shapeshifter ended the gut.
No, because he said this feels different. So
The weight.
maybe like, so I know one hand he's like taking the selfie. Maybe
The
he
weight,
was like
right?
holding it up with the other hand.
Might be the weight.
I like how you think. I like
It
how you
was the
think.
weight. Let's
Or it could be
Let's
that
just
little
go with
dicky
the weight
stuff
because-
where it's resting on the balls. Like maybe
He's got the micro penis.
Right.
or in that little
Because you go from a 135-pound woman to that,
Right?
it's gonna feel different.
And you can feel a big woman
Hey,
on you, so that's
Anthony,
a big
you've
difference.
seen
Like, ain't nothing
Euphoria.
wrong with it. I
Anthony,
ain't
you've seen
judging.
Euphoria, right?
And
Yeah.
hairy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking about right now? The part with Kat and the first guy that called her
Oh yeah.
and her first sex slave. Is that what could have happened?
They probably. Y'all need to. I mean, it's a lot of dick stuff. It's a
Y'all
lot
need
of-
to watch it
That's
for it
too
to
much for
understand
me.
this reference.
a lot of
Okay.
But that line, it was like, this feels different.
This was different. Let's just say wait because oh Lord.
And then I like the line where he was like,
I
it's
actually was
2019
thinking, like,
or wherever he said. It's 2000 something.
What
Yeah.
It's like,
move?
yeah, but not
Right.
in your district.
Yeah, they're not gonna appreciate this at all.
They're not with it.
And the other
Right.
hilarious part is how the dude came in looking like Madeline, and then like he morphed back into himself. Like the walk he did out was just
Mhm.
so.
Oh,
It was
These damn
so
heels.
In the
insulting.
skirt? No,
Like,
come on. And he still had on a skirt, the heels.
Mhm.
Like, I'm
and
walking
the
around
he's
sweater.
like, no, I
heels.
know this is true because I was there.
Yeah. and the
I
guy was like,
I'd have liked it if it didn't work. I would like it if he was like, I learned something new about myself.
Like, all right, go on.
I'm gonna
Go
make
on.
this announcement.
Thanks for that revelation.
And then Madeline comes in like, that's all doppelganger. Like, damn, that's the name y'all gonna give him too? Oh, okay, alrighty.
Should have been bait
Um,
and switch. Should have been bait and switch.
Let's see.
Catfish.
Catfish, yeah.
Definitely catfish.
Mhm.
Okay, so it says Annie stops a rape. She is unaware she's being recorded. Ashley rages at her for exposing her and is forced to call legal. While Homelander searches for Translucent, Frenchie decides to play C4 and Translucent's colon. Oh, so he put it way up there. If we're in the colon.
So wait,
no,
can we go
that's
back
deep.
to Annie stops a rape? There's one thing about that scene I didn't like is that it's in every super bad superhero movie. They all fight in the alleyway. Like, I just learned my powers, and here's these assholes assaulting this woman,
Green
and now I'm gonna
Lantern?
beat you all up. Green Lantern, yes, exactly.
That's what I thought about as soon as I saw
I was
it.
like,
oh,
really?
no.
We're doing this? Some guys? Yeah, we're just having some fun. Who does that? Who fucking does that? Like, yeah, come on, baby, let's have some fun. Oh yeah, I'm gonna rape you out in fucking public. Come on, son. Let's not.
And you know what's I mean, granted they were going to rape that chick, but then she wasn't even like, you guys get the fuck out of here. She was like, "Ma'am, avert your eye."
Yeah.
And then she just
obliterates them.
Just went crazy on
She
them.
beat their ass. She beat
Yeah.
their ass.
And then she gets recorded, and her handler, like the next day, is like, "What the
And
fuck?"
the person who's recording, this is the part you get, not the "help me, don't rape me," not
Like,
that
please,
part.
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of part of town are you living in? Just rape on a main street? and I mean, I don't want to be like, get a better class of rapists in the city, but then, and then, so I'm just guessing superheroes can kill at will. Like, superheroes are, well, like black cops. I mean, they're like cops and black people. They can just kill you and be like, eh.
I feel I'm gonna add this for the sake of the podcast. Rape is not a joke. It's not funny.
No, not at all.
We do not endorse rape.
No, as Mo laughs. Good job, Mo. That's why it's cast now.
Except when the deep got raped, that was kind of funny.
When he got
assaulted.
We do not endorse rape of any sexual orientation.
I'm not endorsing rape, but comeuppance is comeuppance.
Comeuppance is comeuppance. He did deserve that rape.
Yo,
we don't endorse rape.
Assault.
Keem is like, oh god. I saw that brow scratch. Keem, you were like, oh no.
No, I am not.
I'm trying to help y'all in 2019. Damn it!
I am not endorsing rape.
Are we gonna spin this?
I am not endorsing rape, but that the Deep's rapist was at least smart enough to do it inside. Like, Ohio had some class.
Moving on, Mo, you had a thought that you wanted to share before that part that maybe we can cut out.
It was something that kind of caught me off guard with the scene, right, where I think she's angry at this point. She's been angry since everything happened to her. She lost control of everything, and I think while the scene is kind of bothersome because again it's a tropey scene, but it is something where because she couldn't do anything about what happened to her, she just felt like, because I think she knows not to do that, period. She knows not to fight without a costume. She knows not to do any of that, but she just wanted to do something because she just couldn't help herself when it happened to her. And it's kind of
And the other thing is, she had already had that pep talk with Huey. Like when they met in the park, and he was like, "You're still a fighter. Right. You're still a warrior. Like every now and then we fall down, but true warriors like brush themselves off and get back up and keep fighting." And
you
so
spit them gems.
Yeah, it's funny, right? How Huey's the one telling her that, and the whole time he's he's a pussy. But
hey, those who can't teach.
Funny that way.
Yeah.
Those who can't do teach.
So he's out there teaching. Let's see. The other thing that I found interesting was how Annie / Starlight's handler like came in and just blew all the way up at her like,
oh, she was the worst.
This is terrible. This is such a fuck up. And Annie's like, but am I fired though?
Ashley.
Like what's happening?
Yeah,
Ashley. Yeah. And so you have that scene where Ashley is just like irate and making her feel like shit because she actually stood up and stopped somebody from getting legit raped. Mm-hmm. And then in the next minute, they're like, come into the office. Oh my gosh, you're trending. People love you. You're a hero. The women love you. Even the strong left-leaning liberals are like proud of you, and men love you because you were fighting. So
you went up 20 points or whatever.
Yeah. So that just tells you they're really not in it for doing good.
You know,
like they're just in it for shit that's going to make them money.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked for a couple of politicians like years ago. And I remember I did something with the office, and I helped somebody for it, and then their personal system was like, yes, but did you make I forget what it was, like some kind of press or make something about it on an internet thing? And it was like, because it doesn't matter if people can't see it. And I was like, damn. and that's what that kind of reminded me of, is that if you're not getting press for doing this good, it's not about the work, it's not about saving the people, it's not protecting it or whatever. It's about that bottom line and that and your marketability, right?
Yeah. Nobody cares
So
about your charity unless you can display it.
Right.
right. And I remember how I felt when you were talking to me. It was like, look, this took like 10 minutes. It took like 10 minutes to do, and it like fundamentally like changed this woman's life. And it was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter if we can't, publicize it or whatever. And that's what it felt. That's what that whole thing felt to me. It's like, you don't care that a woman just got raped. And it also kind of looked to me about, how people automatically assume if you're a minority or a woman or this or that you're going to support, a certain causes or right. And it was like, no, there's people who do not care. There's people who do not care
at all,
or at all, unless it affects them directly.
And what's also really great about that scene is she gets her new costume, and this is like supposed to be more.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
So it's like, oh, you're so empowering now. You need a new look, and she's like, what's wrong with my look? It's not, it's still very Hidden Valley country. Like, you need to be more. And
what's empowering about that?
Boom, my titties. And I love how, but I love how that plays a part at that church scene. That whole suit thing plays a part at the church scene later on. I don't want to cut you off, so Keem. Go ahead.
Oh, it's cool. And I also like how one of the people who's thinking, like the black guy who was in there who's thinking up the vision for everything and pitching it, he's also one of the people who's been like,
got no penis.
He's a victim.
Fucked over from
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Well,
but again, I think it was a good lesson.
That.
I thought it was a good lesson because everybody kept holding this position over her, and she never really. And I think this for a lot of people who get victimized, you don't realize your own power, right?
Right.
If you say, "Oh, if you don't do this, you can't keep this job," okay. Like you know what I mean? Sometimes it's really hard because so she never had agency. Agency was never really fostered in her, right? Like from her mom, from anybody else, and so to be like, "Oh, you're gonna fire me for not having my breast out on the most public." Team.
Yeah, what you gonna beat my
in
ass?
the world? Right. What happens? You gonna fire me, and then I just go on TV and say you fired me because I wouldn't wear this dress, like
right.
and just standing up for herself, and it was certain words they used, like they let me wear this costume at this event because it's more family oriented.
Because it's more more family friendly.
And I know we're not there yet, but there was a part where like the little girl was talking to her.
Yeah, I'm saving up for the new suit.
Right, like, and the girl was like,
that was at the race.
That was at the race, and then the dude yelled, "Show us your tits!" Like,
right, it was at the race, and then the girl like looked at her like, "What you gonna do?"
And she started to, but then her handler was like, "No, you don't do that here."
And that little girl was like, "Oh, if somebody as powerful and famous as her got taken, I guess that's just okay." I was like, "No."
No,
but she did tell the girl. She did tell the girl something. Don't do that.
Like, don't bother with that.
But
your
it
suit
doesn't
is
matter
perfect.
if you're doing it. If it's not a public.
Like your point. Yeah, your point was if she didn't make it loud enough. If she just talked to the girl, it's like, well, you didn't tell it to the guy. You just told it to me. I feel what you're saying.
But then that's like a collective thing, also, though, because after the little girl walks off, kind of shook and disappointed. Starlight is like, I just need a minute. So she goes to walk off, and people in the crowd are like, where is she going? Like, you didn't just hear this man be extra disrespectful to her, and she can't even do anything about it. But they've heard it, but they don't care anything about that.
I mean, that's our society today.
Yeah.
But that is society today.
Yeah, on the internet, you could be mad disrespectful and stuff, and nobody stands up and says, yo, don't say that, or don't type that. And when a person gets off the internet, oh, you're so sensitive. Oh, my gosh. Whatever. You're just doing this for attention.
Yeah, so the end of episode 2, translucent. Yes, booty blast. And that was the pun that I missed. As soon as
it went in his mouth.
Huey hit the detonator, that's when the shit hit the fan.
Oh, gosh damn it.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much. Because it was like, that's low hanging fruit.
My runner up was it was a real shit show. So either way, there was going to be something in there. Okay, I feel better now.
Hey, no, but did anyone
here.
notice? Did anyone notice the poster on the wall that said "Keep your hands clean"?
Keep your hands clean. And for some reason, that was the thing that set Huey off. Like he kept looking at it and having these anxiety attacks. And I was thinking that it's because like his dad is like, you're not that person. You don't. This is not what
Yes.
we do. We don't fight. We're good people. Like so. At that point, he was just like, I'm tired of keeping my hands
Fuck
clean.
it. Fuck it.
I'm gonna blow this dude up.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm gonna blow him up.
So an
It
episode.
really went in his mouth too. Like,
It did.
And all over his hair. Mm.
ew.
Okay, so
can taste
episode 3. Oh no, sir. Um, as Frenchie and Butcher clean up Translucent's remains, Huey leaves his home after finally telling his father how he truly feels. Meanwhile, Starlight gains positive publicity for stopping the date rape, only to learn that Stillwell has given her a revealing costume. Okay, so we already covered all of that. Huey applies spyware to Popclaw's computer. So Popclaw is the secret girlfriend of A-Train, and apparently a former Compound V
Porn star?
addict
Mhm.
and
Oh.
and porn.
I
I
know.
thought she was
you-
just
Yeah, she was
No,
a.
it was an adult movie.
She's a D-list hero now.
yeah,
yeah.
Former
Um,
A-list, now D-list hero.
because she's
And
off with
she
the
did
stuff.
a movie, and then she's doing the adult films.
Mm.
And I like how Huey tells Billy, like, controls that situation, because left to Billy, he'd walk in there and it'd be some bullshit about trying to get her no planting cameras everywhere, but Huey's like, no.
We don't
And-
have to do that.
Yeah, what's also really interesting about that scene is he told the truth. Every camera in your home is literally, they can watch. We're being watched, and it's like,
You just
I
need
like how it kind of,
one IP address and it's done.
you just kind of like, it parallels real life in a way, because everyone kind of like, I mean, I know I cover my work computer. I tape the camera on it.
I've got a little
Unless-
slidey thing.
Yeah.
I give the government a show. Every time I walk by.
And FBI agent is like, again?
Jesus.
You're watching it again?
And the conversation I have, they be like, look, we gotta censor most of this. like there's some
when they're
Agent
reading
Johnson
Ant's
in
transcript, it's like,
he's like, no, I don't want Ant Duty again. I don't want Ant Duty again.
Not it.
Not it. Not it.
like, who volunteers as tribute for Ant tonight?
And
Trust
there's
me.
one
Tell you about my
person
dream
who's
last
like,
right. The Starlight of the FBI, the new person
Right.
in the FBI gets stuck.
Yo, they're watching
Hey.
the dudes who try to be offline, not the ones who are out there. Because trust me, it's way too much.
No,
Right.
like, sir, all he does is helicopter all day long for no reason.
Like, have you seen his Pornhub? Oh my god, there's so
Crazy.
much, so
This is
much
the
wrong.
5th time this week. He's watched the same video 5 times. What the
why
What
are there
is-
so many
it was-
tentacles?
What is Brazilian fart porn? Seriously, what is that?
No,
Oh.
but I love how he goes into her stuff, but then
And sometimes
it
I
was
talk
brilliant.
Because I assume they're there.
Go on, Mo.
What?
Good job.
Milk. Mother's Milk is also very brilliant, and you see his brilliance in the scene where he noticed the go bag
Right.
for
Right.
drug addicts. Before that, he also noticed, he was the one who kind of kept her at bay while he was doing his thing, and they get that, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of like the show kind of switched gears, because you go from blowing up a superhero's colon to a very
Espionage.
we're not gonna do that every episode. It's like, okay, well this was, and I like that switch, because again, if you're gonna go that route, you have to top every major thing you do. So I
Every
like how
time.
they didn't do that. No matter,
Yeah.
you have to top it off. You have to
But
top
what they
it.
did show you is that A-Train has a toe sucking fetish.
Yes. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino over here. Actually, I guess he's the reverse Quentin Tarantino, because Quentin likes to suck their toes.
Yo, I was waiting like the actress that had to get paid, and she didn't get paid a lot. She's a two episode cameo at best. I was like, damn,
How much they
that's
pay you to suck this man's
I was
dirty
like,
ass toe?
and I'd be like,
He's
look,
been running around the whole city, the whole world
Right.
actually.
like
before
before
you
this
suck my
scene was
toe,
shot, did she have to see him get a pedicure? Like
she have to clean
before
it
she
herself.
did that, was
Maybe they
there
put
like
a
a
little
Maybe-
toe
like a-
condom.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that
did
was
she have
my
something in
thing,
her
there's a toe
mouth where
No,
like
there was no condom in that shot. And
Special
look.
effects, man.
and
I'm like-
zoomed in?
right, I was like, look, I'm gonna do this right, but they gonna have to suck my toe first. Walk
Hopefully,
around.
she got some kind of extra bonus for that. Because
You got a bone, all right.
I mean,
Do you know what personal scene I would have left? You know, never mind. Let's keep going.
yeah,
The scene
You
I
wanna
would
be the
have loved
landlord?
to be in-
no,
You wanna be
I
the
would
landlord?
I wanna be
We're-
the
There-
we're
there are
getting
worse-
there.
There
We're
are worse
getting
ways
there.
to go. There are worse ways to go.
Rent.
So
I mean, granted, you didn't get yours. It's kind of tough. You didn't get yours. You die with a hard on. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
she's not gonna get that deposit back. Yeah. So they install their surveillance. They see, they kind of see the struggle between A Train and Pop Claw because she's, basically like, we're not Facebook official. You're not posting me in no pictures. Like, nobody knows we're together. What are we? I want to be at the race. And
Y'all
he's just,
farmers.
huh?
We are farmers. Dun, 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 dun.
You ain't shit.
That's what he should have said. That's what he should have said. That's what he should have said, yo.
Yup.
Oh, so yeah, so he's like, yeah, sorry, babe. I really wanted you to be at the race, but still, well, she says you can't. It's not time yet.
Oh, actually, worse than that, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just catch you after the race," and that's when she was like, "Wait, I'm not gonna be at
I
the
thought-
race with you."
He hit her with the "What you finna do?"
Yes. Yo, I'm about to head out of here. Yo, what you
Yeah.
about to do?
What you about to get into?
Oh.
So, but before I go though,
Mhm.
I'm gonna need that compound V because I gotta win this race. But I'm
And you know
doing
that
this for us.
That was a real conversation about like, yeah, I'm about to hit my cousin's wedding. Oh yeah, we going. What do you mean you about to hit your cousin's wedding? I thought we going to your cousin's wedding. Well, I ain't tell my mom about it. My peeps about it yet. But
So-
like, look, check it though. Can I borrow your car though?
Like,
No, actually, worse than that, it was like, yeah, there's no space in the car because it's already gonna be like 5 of us. Can I borrow your car?
can I borrow your car? You got that tax refund back, right? Because I told you I'm gonna
Right.
flip it
Now,
for
let me
you.
get gas money real quick. But it's weird because I think he had said, "Oh, I'm gonna catch you at the race," and she's like, "I'm not going with you." And then he looked really like he was like, "Oh," and then I thought you told Stillwell. Ooh, I never told Stillwell. It's just gonna be awkward. Like,
I just ran through a bitch. I can't be making requests
Oh,
right
no.
now.
Yeah, he said,
man,
I
I just killed Shorty. Like,
I gotta get my leverage back up. That's what he told her. He's like, yeah, I gotta get my leverage up
Yeah,
first,
okay.
and then then we'll be all right. Yeah, girl, it's all right.
Oh, it's cool.
I'll get you that frozen tilapia.
So then you see him at the race. He's like all pumped up and stuff, and extra jittery because he's
You're
on
literally
that stuff.
teleporting.
Just and his brother is like, you good, man? Because you looking real jittery right now. And he's like, no, I'm pumped. We're gonna win. So of course he wins the race. What I thought was interesting about that after the race when he's making his victory speech or doing his victory interview, and he's like, yeah, he raced clean. He did a good clean race. Like, wow. So you even like
Telling on
this
yourself.
is kind of your way of being in there. Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing, Aunt?
Oh, he like rubbed it in.
Oh.
I was like, I saw it too. I'm just like, can we just like? It's kind of distracting. It was like, ooh.
That was a different kind of rub-in, but yeah. So he's making his victory speech, and they're like, okay, what you finna do after this? Like, are there any a special lady you're gonna go? go celebrate
I'm
with. And like, we don't talk no more.
He hit him with the, you know how it is.
You know how it is. Like we single out here. Man.
Yo,
like,
what to do? Hit you with
I'm
the.
not talking.
Yeah, you know how it is. I'm just out here doing my own thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot boy summer, so
yeah, hot boy summer.
Down.
A-Train's a hot boy.
Yo, he's a hot boy. Yo,
A-Train is
the hot boy.
quick. So his girl is like sitting here watching all of this, and then to add insult to injury, he could have just been like, you know how it goes or whatever. Then he's like, ladies, I'm available if anybody, like, damn.
Hashtag hot boy.
So while she's sitting there going back and forth on whether or not she wants to use the V again, like him saying that is basically her like, fuck him, girl. I'ma drink my Moscato. I'ma put on my freakum dress.
Right.
I'm going out. I'ma do me. So she,
but she dead ass did put her freakum dress on though.
She was having a city girl summer.
She put her whole costume on with her little things flipping out of her arms, and she's in there power squatting weights and shit. Like
landlord was like, "Oh, he fucked up. He fucked up." Huh?
Hey, girl, it's time for that rent.
Yo, Mr. Dickovich from Spider-Man came through. Like,
rent.
Hey, why was the landlord like lurking, like the dudes that be lurking in your DMs?
He was on the bench. He was waiting for his opportunity. He was in the wings, motherfucker. He was like that guy is in the wings. Look at his lip like.
He hurt you again, boo. Alright, man. Like, let's watch Netflix real quick.
Right, Keem, right. I love all of your ideas. Oh yeah, you want a children's book, right? You want to write a children's book? Yeah, man.
That sounds oddly specific.
You, girl. I support you. Whatever you need.
So,
but they've established that A-Train don't know what to say off the cuff. Like that little boy was like,
"He's a dummy."
Oh my gosh,
we have to talk about that. Where, so now Translucent is missing, and he was supposed to like. I guess it's like their version of the Make-A-Wish thing for the terminal kids, so they get like one last wish of their life. Nothing about that should be funny. I hate you all. So
that was a thought out burn you would have did. Are you going to teach me how to run as fast as you? Yeah. You going to teach me how to outrun cancer?
You going to teach me how to outrun cancer? Like.
I'm sorry. That's one of the greatest scenes. That's one of the greatest scenes in the show.
But the build up to it, though, because the kid is like, I wanted translucent. The kid has on his like translucent shirt.
The best part about that was the Facebook stuff.
The heart, because it started out with like hearts going up the side of the screen. And Kris is like, make sure you pay attention to the side of the screen. So I'm looking, and like there's hearts and stuff because they're like, A-Train is here. And like, all the little hearts and smiley faces, and the kid is like, "But I wanted translucent." And he's like, "Well,"
and then you just see surprise faces and like tears.
Translucent on a mission, and then he said, "Oh God, okay." Then he says, "He can come next week. He can come see you next week." And the doctor is like,
"No."
No, I was in tears when he looked at the doctor. The doctor was just like,
the view
at that point,
it started going down. Man,
it just went down. And you see nothing but.
And then all the faces start turning to angry faces and stuff.
Angry faces.
A-King is a dummy.
Oh my God.
But honestly, what could you have said at that point?
I mean,
he said maybe you'll see him next week.
Maybe you'll see him next week. When the doctor did this. It was all over.
That was the only time I felt for A-Train during the whole series because you couldn't do nothing.
Tears,
if you ever had to do a meeting for a colleague that didn't come to work that day or a project, you had to do a school project and somebody did their part.
And you're like,
I gave a whole sermon once. I'm not religious, but
you just get stuck.
Oh my God!
Okay,
it was so funny. It was so funny.
So we already know that he does. He's not. He can't he's not an off the cuff person. Like he needs to be scripted.
Yeah, Madeline was like, I told you, he needs to be scripted.
He always needs to be on script. So Pop Claw, she gets all pumped up on the compound B. The landlord comes in and they end up role playing where he's supposed to be like a robber and she's the superhero, and she like pushes him down.
What are you doing, Steve? Well, you gonna eat my ass? Like, huh? They don't see that on TV.
She's high. There's a lot of stuff they don't do on TV that they did on this show. So here we are.
You're a dirty thief that loves eating ass. I actually say it back to make sure
she was like,
it.
say you like eating ass.
And he's like, so when she reaches her moment, I guess she clenches her thighs just a bit too hard. You know that video of the broad with the extra muscly legs and all she does is put watermelons between her thighs and crushes them? That's what happened to that man's head.
What, Susan Summers with the Thigh Master?
No, there's a. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah,
but
Giovanni. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's what that reminded me of, because she was just like, and then poof, just all over. And she was so in the moment, she didn't even notice that his head exploded until she stood up.
Until she gets up.
She like crawled off of him and then was like, why are my legs this wet? And then she like turned around and, and saw him and saw like his head just
everywhere,
all over. Yeah,
and this is gray matter at leaking.
That's
what I'm saying. A-Train isn't paying her bills. Maybe A-Train's money.
Yeah, I was wondering. That's a good point. I was wondering, like, why is she behind the rent?
Like everybody else. He might be. I mean, he's black, so he might be the lowest paid superhero.
Or maybe he has to pay for everybody from his hood.
Well, maybe he owes Homelander money for the.
Oh wait, yeah, I'll say he has a drug problem, so you know he's not paying anybody else.
Yeah, that's right.
We're lucky he's not speeding around.
I think we jumped the race part. The most important part of the race is where they go look for the compound V.
And it's not there.
And yeah, it's not at the race. And then I think Mother's Milk has the idea to go back and look through her videos and figure out that she has it, or she could tell him.
Oh,
and that's why Mother's Milk and Butcher are the two that find her.
Did the show talk about how much each shot of compound V costs?
No, it didn't. But we're missing.
Say it.
That'd have been a shot right there.
No, well, you guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're missing one part, that when Mother Milk leaves or whatever, and they're looking for the compound V, that's when Huey meets up with, he realizes who Annie is.
That's right.
Yeah, he realizes.
Right.
And he's also distracting her from seeing Frenchie trying to look for the compound V.
Dangling from the ceiling, looking like a pole dancer.
Yeah. So they have a really good talk, and there's a scene, there's a part of that scene that pissed me off, because he turns off the radio when she starts talking about how much he hates the job. And that would have been,
that would have made so much.
Exactly.
That would have helped so much.
Exactly. It would have helped.
Because she would have been on their, like, I don't know how far up on their side she would have been, but she would have been on their side.
Right.
At a point.
And it would have made Billy realize that, okay, they're not all like this. Like, you think that they're all assholes.
Billy,
but
I don't think Billy was ever gonna like.
No, the only person Billy thought was a good person was Homelander, and that's it.
Well, at least the rest of them, because they're all listening in, right? At least,
they were all listening. Maybe, everyone would have probably. Maybe Mother's Milk would have been able to convince Billy. Oh, but that stare down at the race, Homelander and Billy.
Oh yes, Homelander and Billy. That was a good stare down.
Homelander didn't even, he was staring at him, but he didn't recognize why they were having this stare down.
But Billy
he was looking down, was like,
Billy was shooting daggers at his face.
Who's this nigga?
Billy, who's looking at me like
then
that,
he looked back and the dude was gone. It's like, peculiar.
Like he was still looking over in the area, okay, that's odd.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And did they talk about, was this the same time, or was this after where Huey ran into A-Train and A-Train didn't even recognize him, even though they just talked?
That was at the apartment.
That was at the apartment.
Right.
Yeah. But that just shows how much shit these superheroes do that mess up people's lives. But it's like Street Fighter. Like for you, it was the day your whole family died. For me, it was a Tuesday. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
like you had to come in and shake
Mhm.
this man's hand and tell him you're sorry for killing his girlfriend.
And
And you
even
see
then,
him face to face, and you're like,
even
I don't
then,
know who
you
you
could
are.
see he wasn't really paying attention because this is like, all right, yeah. I'm good
Yeah,
with
my
this
bad.
shake. All right, I'm out.
Right. Well, and you also think about it's like kind of like the Fox News thing where you find out how much money they were paying off every year to different women for all these different anchors doing all this
Right.
different stuff. You're like, you're giving away fortunes. But at the end of the day, like if you're Bill O'Reilly, you're making them a fortune every day, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So it's all about that bottom line. And and in their minds, it's just one other check. Like you were just
Right.
something I wanted. You was one other check. All right, I'm good. I'm gonna get reprimanded a little bit. I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
again. We all know I'm gonna do it again.
Right. It's like Tyler Durden explained in Fight Club about recalls. It's like, okay, so you got to cost benefits. Like, how many people are going to die? If these people didn't die, then how much is it going to cost versus fixing a car? If it costs, if it costs $10 to fix a car, but 10,000 people die and it only cost them $5 to pay them off, let them die.
Points.
We're going to save money.
Points.
Why you say it like
I
that?
appreciate that.
He's like, let him die.
Yeah,
I'm
That's all it was
because,
in the movie.
I
I'm an
mean,
extremist.
He did the equation in the movie, and it was like,
Yeah.
damn. And you know it was true. You know it was true.
Side note, since we're on the Fight Club subject right now, I was kind of thinking it would also kind of been cool if Billy Butcher was Huey's Tyler Durden.
That would have been interesting.
That
That'd have been a nice
It
thing.
would have been an
That
interesting
would have been
twist.
dope.
But yeah, or vice versa, whatever. Okay, so
That'd be
Popclaw explodes the landlord's head
Mhm.
by getting head.
Ass
And
head.
and then
She blows his brains out.
Mother's
Death by
Milk.
anal.
Mother's Milk and Frenchie come in and they're like, hey,
Cranial
calm
anal.
down. We're not gonna. I need you to stop making.
Anality.
Like it's gonna.
Okay, I'm done.
Are you
Come
sure?
on, man.
Points. Chris wins. Chris wins that round.
That was the one. Like, we're done.
So, they basically tell her, or Mother's Milk like calms her down. He's like, look, we'll clean it up, we'll make sure everything's okay. I just need you to give me the V, and we won't tell anybody, which they do.
Tell us. No, she didn't have any, and she goes, tell us where he gets it from. And then he's like, anytime he comes back with V, he always smells like pork lo mein.
He always has the Chinese food, the noodles.
I didn't know which it was, so I just said the lo mein because that's the most common one. So yes, he always smells like that, and the closest, the one he loves to get is golden china or something, and they go to investigate.
Okay, and then
what episode we on, Keem?
We are on episode 3 still. So it says
part 3.
I think we're probably going to do a part 3 because we're at an hour and 18 minutes.
I hate this counters. I hate this counter so much.
Right, it's like a fuck you to your face. Like, yes,
but it's also
this is where we are.
I mean, technically we've only been talking about the show for an hour and 13 minutes because we had that interesting start. But right. We can probably go to what, like an hour 35, hour 40, and then
that's fine.
Okay,
that wasn't my fault.
It really wasn't.
It's always your fault. So it says at VOT headquarters, Homelander reveals translucent remains to Stillwell along with Butcher's message coming for you. I'm sorry. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but going back when Butcher reunites with Mother's Milk, and Mother's Milk is like, I don't want to do this with you anymore. And Butcher's like, look, man, whole new show, new year, new me. no more lies this time. It's not going to be like the last time. And Mother's Milk is like, okay, that's cool, but I can't work with Frenchie. Have you seen him? And he's like, no,
I haven't spoke
haven't
to him
seen
in
him.
years.
Nowhere around.
Mhm.
And then like 5 minutes later, the
like
door
he
swings
walks
open
right
and,
in.
and Frenchie is like right back there. Like, so you already know he ain't
He ain't
shit.
shit.
Okay,
All
so
that Mia
episode
Mimi
4
did.
is where we meet the female of the species. Um, following Popclaw's following Popclaw's tip, the boys find a triad hideout housing an imprisoned Japanese woman. The female, Kimiko, whom Frenchie frees to kill triad guards, and she runs off. Milk finds evidence that the female was a test subject. As Huey is meeting with Starlight for bowling, Butcher has him bug her phone. With the Compound V supply compromised, A-Train has Popclaw pack a bag and to go into hiding while he searches for the female. So we'll stop there for a second just to kind of go through all of that.
You said to kill the guards. She did not kill the guards.
She destroyed those
murderized them.
fuckers.
She's fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
And I was waiting the whole, the season to see her get down, because like again, like she's known to make the boys even kind of go like, that was a little too violent.
That was
I didn't say it.
I'll say it because in the comics, she's vicious. She is vicious, and it was so crazy to actually see. But then again, it makes sense because if they open the show with Huey losing his girl in that manner, and they showed it to you, I guess they have to show you the female of the species go off. But she went off.
And I like how they had to lock themselves in.
Right.
Yo.
Because
but I didn't think she was even gonna. Was she gonna come for that?
Oh yeah, she was coming for him. Like they closed that gate, and her hand still reached in to try to grab at least one of them.
Because at that point, you don't know who you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's been in there in a cage watching K-pop videos and eating cereal. So
which that would make any of us go kind of like, the next person I get, the next person I get.
Like, yo,
that one guard shot himself in the head rather than her.
He's like,
nope, not doing this.
No, and if you look at her punch people, she wasn't just punch; she was punching through them. Like threw niggas into the ground. I'm like, yo, nah, bro, yeah, it's cool.
Dude was like,
yeah, I'm going out on my own terms. I'm not gonna do this.
So when I first saw it, I thought she had like powers, like she was like that, but she wasn't. He literally just said no, like I'm not doing this.
Mm-mm. That's just sheer fear. Yeah.
Batman ain't got shit on her.
Right.
Yeah. So she runs off, and A-Train like comes home, and Popclaw is basically like, not so. I killed my landlord, and you ain't she's like, you ain't shit. Like how are you just gonna like tell people that you don't have anybody in your life? And he's like, okay, that's not the point right now.
He's like, you don't have to say stuff like that. I mean, it's my
So
wait.
Did she
when he came,
killed her landlord?
No, she didn't tell.
When she came home, when he came home,
I think she was
it after he like went to the Chinese spot and saw the slaughter? Okay,
yes.
So that's when he came home and was like, "What did you do?" And she's like, "What you mean?" And then she flipped it on. She flipped it on him.
What did you do?
Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, so you don't have anybody? So you don't have anybody at home? Because ghetto chicks gotta grab the air. You don't got anybody. You don't got
nobody.
Home?
I'm here waiting for you. You said you was gonna talk to Stillwell.
Babe, chill. It's not.
I'm really getting too good at that.
Like I don't even know that girl, dog. Yeah, okay, so when I'm texting her in the DMs, I don't even know her like that. What are you talking about? So like,
okay, she sucked my toes one time, but that was it. It was just my toes.
Oh, her.
It wasn't even a big toe, man. It was a pinky toe.
It wasn't a big toe. I just met, like, the persona is a race. I had to take pictures with her. I didn't even post on my real Instagram. I put on the stories. Like, what are you talking about?
The stories.
Is that a thing? Is that?
Yeah, man, like only your girl goes on your actual Instagram. but the stories can get everybody. Everybody
Stories
can get a
fade
story.
away. You're permanent, girl.
Exactly.
I'm learning things.
Ain't
Okay.
shit, nigga. 101.
Mo got practicing that.
Relax.
There's rules to this game, Mo.
Crosby, what's the
As Mo will say, yo, chill.
Yo, chill.
Wow.
You really put him out
did
there
hit
like
her with
that.
the wow, though. He really did hit her with the wow.
He did.
So you gonna take
Wow.
what I said.
Wow.
You say, so you gonna take what I said on the camera as real? You're not
You gonna
just
believe
talking
what
on
I
camera.
said over what I'm saying?
You gonna trust your lying ears?
Go
But
trust your
anyways,
ears and your eyes.
She's like, but anyway,
Whatever,
what did
man,
you
whatever.
do? I just want to go check the spot, and the shit is all torn up. What's good? Well, I ain't do nothing. Who'd you tell? I ain't tell nobody. All right. You sure? Hey, I ain't tell nobody for real. Like,
And he's like, okay, well, it's not safe here. We gotta go. I gotta get you out of here. Pack a bag. We gotta go. So he takes her to somewhere else as a safe house.
Right.
Let's see, where are we here?
And then bowling. We're in bowling.
Yeah. So Huey and Annie go on their bowling date.
It was cute.
It was really cute, but it's messed up that now, even in death, your girl not gonna let you cheat on her.
Bro, like, son.
Yo, she was just popping up. Every time he was happy, he was like, hey, girl, yeah, let's play some. Oh, shit.
She's popping up, giving him the eerie stare, like,
You know what?
It's only been a month, nigga. It's only been a month.
right.
You all out there?
His
You
bowling
out
game,
there?
yo, his bowling game was way off. It was like, damn.
Trash.
But it's like we ain't but it's funny because he ain't even try to hit enough in it. She's just showing up like, don't even try.
Don't
Don't
embarrass me
don't
like
do
this.
it. Don't think about it.
Gonna embarrass me like
This
this?
how you gonna do me?
Or you gonna do a
Meanwhile-
superhero?
Yeah,
Not even
meanwhile, it
just
was
a regular chick, a whole
one of the
superhero.
boys was telling him, yeah, yo, it's okay to move on. Be happy. She want that.
She would want that. She's like,
she's
no, the
still
fuck
It was
she
milk
don't.
too. It was, no, she don't.
I never liked him
I see her. I know because I can see her.
She's holding up a sign.
No,
Don't date nobody
nigga.
else.
I just died last week.
My splatter is not even cold yet, and you out here romancing other bitches.
I was alive a week ago.
You still have molar in your hair. My
Right,
molar
right,
is
underneath your
still in
fingernails
your
still.
hair,
Oh,
nigga. Like,
and
what?
then you gonna take this bitch to the spot I took you to and showed you how to bowl, and now you just gonna bring her here and show her how to
You
bowl?
gonna bring it to my spot?
Everybody dying.
He was disrespectful.
Damn.
That was
Everybody though?
everybody dying.
Everybody.
Like, you should-
And hence Keem can't have superpowers.
We've already
Unless Mo
established
gets
that.
superpowers, then we all need to get Mo. So, also, I liked how she had to limit her abilities to
Right.
because she was so
to
afraid
make
of
him, yeah,
intimidating other people's egos. I like how ego keeps playing a role in this series.
Yeah.
You know?
right.
But I
And,
also like how he was like, Are you dialing
holding
it
back?
down for me? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, don't do that shit. Shine, girl.
And then the next thing was a strike, a
Mhm.
super strike.
Like,
Yeah,
just destroyed the pins.
Yeah, I did it on a date once. I was like, no, give me a handicap again.
Pride just hurt.
Oh, so you became the boyfriend that she was talking about, right?
Oh yeah, no,
Because
I
she
was
was
like,
telling the
you ain't
story.
gotta do that. But then I was like, you ain't gotta embarrass me. You can let me think.
You
Let
gotta
me win
decimate me.
sometime.
Shit. Damn.
At least don't
Miss
blow me
one.
out.
Right.
Not like 130.
Jeez, let me get on the board at least. It was
Let me
pool.
get on the board.
It was pool. I was like, can I hit something?
Wow.
Mm.
Did she get behind you to try to teach you? Like, you know what? Let me teach you. You can
Well,
do something.
I got behind her to try to teach her. I couldn't teach her nothing. Though.
Oh,
She already
I mean,
knew.
no,
Yeah.
Not about that pool. Not about that pool.
So,
Anyway.
but
so
he did call
Hugh-
her phone when she went to the bathroom.
yeah, he did bug her phone.
I was disappointed in
fucked up.
that.
I
I was very disappointed.
I was also disappointed.
Yeah.
But I think
He was holding
that
out
was
for a
after
minute.
He saw his girl. But I think that's after he saw his girl.
Yeah.
I think every time he saw his girl, he remembered his mission.
Yeah.
Before like she disappeared finally, but every time he saw her, he remembered. Okay, you know what? Fuck these soups. I'm gonna do what I have to do.
This is what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
He was one track mind then, and then I guess the more he kind of got to know her, the more.
Well, I did like his trauma, and I like how they didn't just do his trauma like he just fell apart. You know how in like now in the adventure movies, Thor kind of like can't handle stress or trauma, and he kind of just falls apart, especially in like deleted scenes. Like it was times where you were surprised, like is he going to snap out of it or is he not? And I liked having that unsurety about how he was going to deal with his PTSD.
Right.
You know, because it wasn't like he fell apart every time, but you could tell there's a chance.
He's trying to hold himself together.
Right. Yeah, he did try to hold himself together. That was
because his girlfriend couldn't.
Oh,
nigga!
Wow. Wow.
Us here at Earth 2 want to say that I don't even know what you call that.
Of all the fucked up shit we said on
the
show, that is the most fucked up.
Too far.
You took it way too far.
We do not condone making fun of high velocity impact victims. We do not condone that here at Earth 2. Yes.
Yeah, Keem.
I'm not even sorry.
Said some stuff on the show, but
I'm not even sorry.
Was it?
Okay.
It is 2019.
Oh,
people can identify street stains if they want to. Damn it.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. So.
Oh man.
Stillwell sends Homelander and Maeve to save a hijacked airliner, but instead Homelander abandons the plane, forcing Maeve to choose survival over innocence.
That scene, man.
That scene, and we already covered that one in the last one, but I think the general consensus is that was fucked up.
It was horrifying, man.
But was it really fucked up though? Like, let's think about it.
Logically,
again,
okay,
this
I get
is
it.
A show that has used physics. What is Ant saying?
I don't know. He's on mute.
And he's muted.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, technically, is it really fucked up though? Like, whole time, Homelander is like, Maeve is like, why don't you just fly everybody one by one? 300 plus people, bro. Like, who got time?
Here's a killer part. It's Homelander's fault because he didn't have to laser that dude's face and blow up the whole console.
Right. This is the mistake of his own making. It could have been handled way differently.
Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't him that fucked it up.
This is like, okay.
I mean, Homelander did fuck up by lasering, the whole board. But could he really save everyone? Like,
but he could have tried to have saved as many people as possible.
He was just like, oh, wait, you want me to fly back and...
Oh, he's frozen.
Who, me? I'm frozen?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was saying Homelander was just lazy. He was saying, oh, you want me to fly down 131 times? Hell no, I'm not doing that.
But you know what's fucked up, though? He's really strong, so it probably could have been like 65 times because he could have carried people in twos.
Right.
But he wasn't even trying to do that.
It's just like, I don't want these mud people on me.
He could have waited for the plane to get out of, like, the plane is crashing, so everybody could have been putting on their little parachute thingies.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I know planes have flotation devices. Do they have parachutes?
No.
Why don't planes have parachutes? But That's a terrible idea.
Because parachutes are expensive, and then you've got to train people.
Expensive.
Because it's a liability
certified.
Issue. Exactly.
Not everybody's certified.
You got to certify people.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you can kill a lot of people that way.
Yeah.
Like,
but everybody's going to die anyway.
Lawsuits. Remember what we just talked about earlier about liability?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but what he could have done was, the little slidey blow up things. I think
Oh yeah, put everybody on that and carry them.
Could have.
Well, you can carry a lot of people, right? At least the children.
At least save the children because that's still a hero story.
The kids were so annoying.
His whole thing was if we save somebody, if we would save some people.
They didn't want to die, Mo. They didn't want to die. I'm sorry that annoyed you.
Yeah.
That is annoying.
Yeah, fucking kids. How dare they want survival?
All right.
It's fucking kids, yo.
So please save me. Learn some proper manners next time, and maybe I will.
So his whole thing was that if we save some people, they're gonna go back and tell that, oh, we didn't save everybody, and we can't have that because reputation.
Yeah, and I think another thing he did kind of foresee is, like you said, if he saved some people, or if people saw him at least doubt, like, because that Maeve was like, okay, how about this one little girl? If he saved that one little girl, she would probably run her fat ass little girl mouth and be like, well, hold on, ain't trying to save nobody else.
Yo, Mo does not like the kids.
You guys, okay, I just want to point out that I'm not the only ain't shit person on this panel.
No, your ain't shit kind of trumps shit because you.
But I'm not alone in the ain't shitness. Is all I'm saying.
All right.
Nah, you made fun of the girl that got blown up.
Shit somewhere.
I'm talking about everybody on the plane dying, because I mean the kids were just like loud, like, oh my god. Homelander was like, you know what? Nah, fuck this. I ain't got, Maeve, you trying to die with them?
Like,
but
you coming with me or not?
But Maeve, aren't you like super strong? Would you not survive that?
She probably could
Impact.
have.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's like bulletproof, but splatterproof.
But I think
I mean, she shattered her arm catching a truck, so I'm sure an impact of a exploding plane would damage her. She's not invulnerable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also, you gotta think
die.
if you have, but you don't know what you can survive until you survive it.
So just try it.
Oops.
Wait, time out. Did we talk about the shooting, the mass shooting, the guy in the building shooting down at the
That's right.
Maeve Homeland.
Oh, and she was like,
man.
remember, we got to
They
get
were-
like they attack first.
Yeah, we touched a little bit on that last.
They were
episode.
so casual about it though, because there's like bullets flying and they're just walking and talking to each other.
Hey,
and that's
you're the
when
real hero.
Homelander,
You're the real hero.
That's when Homelander
Homelander
makes his
flies.
speech.
Mm-hmm.
But Homelander flies up, right?
And waits.
And Maeve had to take the elevator.
Yo, that scene was on my mind because I'm like, wait, was he just standing there waiting for her this whole time?
Just waiting. Number one, waiting for her. Waiting. Okay, and then he's like, okay, but you should be glad that I invited you along because you have a drop in points. So
yeah,
I'm doing you a favor.
It was her mission.
So you should be glad that I decided to come and like boost your points a little bit. And then he gets up there. So now these people are like shooting at the cops. And he's like not stopping it as quick as possible to save any like casualties of innocent people out there. He's just like, wait for her to take the elevator.
As soon as they walk in, homie's like, you know what? No, it's cool. I'm good. I'm done. And Homelander says, I bet. Hand through your chest.
He choked her.
And through his chest. Like we didn't have to do that.
He was supposed to be alive. Yeah, like he's like,
how am I gonna walk him down to what's it? Good Day New York now.
With a hole in his chest. Yeah.
It's like, then let me shoot you up now. Because he fired at us first. He pulled the ultimate cop thing. LAPD.
Like we were in fear for our lives.
That was a shot at the cops for the I fear my life. Let's make the scene look good. But the thing crazy is, again, you're invulnerable to bullets. It doesn't matter if they shoot at you. Like, in a logical way. Like
so
I
you
was
just
afraid for my
impale
life.
this man.
It's three of y'all. Y'all all got guns, tasers, and batons. This guy's in shorts and a tank top. Why were you afraid for your life?
Barefoot.
Right, barefoot.
That's a whole other podcast.
You might have had a Uzi. And what?
Where? He's wearing Speedos.
There reminded me so much of this is one.
We saw that gun in his pants.
About a police shooting,
and that's the
where
real
the guy
one.
jumps out of his driveway and the cop shoots him, and the cop says, "Oh, I thought he had throwing stars." Yeah, what?
Okay, let's stay on track so we can bring this home for the evening.
Let's finish the plane. Let's finish the plane scene. So the plane crashes, right? And Homelander is actually very evil because he's staring the plane down as it's going down his leg. And it crashes.
Did you notice somebody jump out?
Everyone is like, this is such a sad situation. Oh my God, terrorism.
Oh, that speech.
And he like.
I mean, he really put it, like, he poured it on thick, though, because he was like, you know what? Had the military.
Nailed the thing.
Like, had the military given us access to everything.
Sooner.
we could have been there already. Like, if we were a part of the military, we would have known, and we could have been there and saved everybody. But
we don't need to have this again, because if we're part of the military, this will never happen again, no matter what.
It can happen every time.
And I just felt like, and you just see Maeve like, what the fuck?
I feel you, Homelander. Go, Homelander.
Yeah,
and she's
Maeve
just in the background, like,
yo, she was really disgusted. Like, this nigga right
Maeve's
here.
like, this nigga.
Right? She really had that face, like, fuck you.
oh, he ain't shit. I can't stand his ass. But also, she can't like get away from him, because at the race, he like gripped her up by the face and was like, you know, if I thought that you were even just typical ain't nigga shit. I don't necessarily want to be with you, but you still can't be with anybody else.
Yeah,
like,
you mine.
If I thought that you were interested in anybody, you know what? Let's not even think about that. Like,
and yo, did he keep the crowd off yelling like, "Yeah, kiss, kiss, kiss"? She's all uncomfortable.
Like, and I think what's funny about that is he didn't even say it would be bad for her. He said it'd be bad for whoever it is.
Which is why she had to break up with her girlfriend.
But can you imagine? He probably didn't even know that she's gay. She probably didn't even know that she's gay. And
he doesn't care.
His ego would probably be hurt. Oh, you want to be with her? Like,
probably doesn't matter. Not me. Nah. I lays the pipe. I lays the I was like, you know what I do? I will turn you straight.
I go all night.
Be like, I will turn
Meanwhile, 3 seconds later.
Oh my god! Yeah.
That's for the next episode. Okay, so let's see. Hijack plane, abandons the plane. Frenchie finds key evidence leading to Penn Station and makes a momentary connection to the female, but loses her in the crowd. They corner her on the tracks, but A-Train gets her and tries to kill her, but Frenchie diverts the crowd to distract A-Train, allowing the female time to escape.
You know what I like about... Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, the boys corner her in a tunnel. Frenchie tries to talk to her, but she still attacks, and Butcher uses knockout gas on both of them. Stillwater is pleased to see Homelander use the tragedy to push militarized supers, rousing the crowd with a speech while Maeve grieves for those she let die. Okay, so that's the end of episode 4. But okay, go ahead, Kris.
Oh, I was gonna say the whole thing with Frenchie. It's like, one thing I do like about Frenchie is because they emphasize that he's a thinker. While everybody is about action and doing all this, getting into the shit, he actually sits back and is like, I got an idea. Like him taking out Translucent. He's just sitting there watching TV, and he's like, look at that turtle. I bet I could stick something up that turtle's ass. Actually, you thought about that while we were watching the show. Because, like, what made you think about sticking some shit up someone's ass while looking at a turtle? How does your brain work? I would like to know. What was your thought process with that?
I do not have answers for that. I just don't. I saw the turtle like poke his head out. I was like, up the butt.
Yeah, because I watched the show before.
That's the way to go.
And I rewatched it again with her, and she's like, yeah, they're gonna stick something up his butt. It's like, how the fuck did you know that? Yeah, the turtle gave me the idea. I was like, okay, something's wrong with you. Something's really wrong.
What's also weird is, couldn't they have passed it through his throat?
They explained
Isn't
that.
it
Why?
The same?
No, he explained that if he shoves something down his throat, his gag reflexes, he can throw everything up and whatever.
Oh my god. His gag reflex.
One way up.
Anyway.
Right up the colon. Right up the old poop shoot.
But anyway, back to Frenchie.
The whole arm, though? The whole arm?
So anyway, back to Frenchie.
I mean,
like how he dealt with the female of the species. Like, he's the only one to sit back and think like, no, let's not just bomb her or whatever. Let's speak to her because she's trying to get back home. I've noticed just from this ticket that here's where she's gonna end up going. So I just like the way his thought process played out.
Yeah, and he hits her with the it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And yeah, they're so close.
But before we get to Grand Central, she went back to her little nail shop, and she did something to her, the nail shop owner.
Oh, that's right. Because she was working her way backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, so bitch, I wanted a full set. Ugh.
Yeah, she rolled up like, remember me, bitch? Remember me? Sold me into slavery? Gotcha.
And when they finally get down to the station and A Train, he just grabs her. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
action for A Train
hmm
where I don't know. Yeah, I think I like it where it's slow mo and not necessarily like CW's Flash where it's
Yeah,
it's like a Speed Force. I like that it's slow mo, so it actually looks like he's actually running and not just doing this.
right.
And she grabs his glasses. She takes his glasses off and scratches his eye. So okay, real quick. I don't know how speedsters work because again, when you're running, is everyone in your little force as fast as you at that moment?
So, back when Cracked used to have like real writers, they broke down all these different powers, like powers that would suck to have in real life. Speedster, wait, number one, what does that sound?
It
You hear that?
is the fan
Mm-hmm.
blowing.
Ah, gotcha. Oh, it's Ant is the culprit. Sorry,
No,
Ant
it's Mo.
and Mo. All right. Anyway, so the whole Speedster thing. When see now that this noise isn't there, it's like weird.
It's weird. It's so quiet.
It's so quiet.
It's so eerie.
Yeah. So with Speedsters, everything you're moving so fast or whatever, everything moves extra slow to you. Even regular day life is like shit. People would annoy the fuck out of you. So one, how does anybody fight a speedster? Which is a whole other thing. That's
You
if
gotta
you're
fight
moving
speed with speed.
speed with speed. Wouldn't that be the most invincible power? But anyway,
They
go.
always come up with BS. They always come up with BS how they deal with speedsters. Like, because
Yeah.
also, like, if you look at the Flash show, the
Mhm.
Flash should never get touched. I mean, Superman should never really get
Ever.
touched. You,
Right.
you know, um, but if you don't come up with some BS, like the show's over in 30 in less than 3 seconds, pretty much,
Right.
right? Which is why I think originally the Flash TV show he wasn't the fully formed Flash. Like I think he couldn't even run on water at first, if I remember right.
Right.
It's been a minute. But speedsters would literally like I like how powerful they made A Train
hmm
because. And I'm saying this in reference to the show. In the comic, he gets punked way too often.
hmm
And if you're a Quicksilver or somebody like that, and you're moving that fast,
hmm
it's pretty much game over unless you're like invulnerable or can heal from stuff.
Exactly.
I think a light power is really a good counter to him, depending on how fast you are. And I like that little standoff they had in that one episode because it was more like, can she blind him before he runs through her?
Right.
Because if the Flash was vicious, he would just run through people and make them explode.
Just all day.
All that, it wouldn't be a fight.
Like, but he's already. And did you unplug your headphones?
You can't hear me?
No, there's an echo.
There's an echo now. I unplugged it for a minute. Let me try it again. Sorry.
Yeah. There's no getting over on me. Yeah. So Mo had to go, so he pieced out. But
Is this better?
It's so
that
quiet
is
now.
that is better. Yes. I forgot what I was gonna say because I got thrown off by the echo and Mo leaving.
We're talking about how the Flash is really. So there was a contest on one of our groups about how who's the most powerful superhero, and so we were like arguing weird stuff when the Flash came up, and I was like, I don't really think you guys. I think this was around season 1 or 2 of the Flash, and I was like, I don't think you really get how powerful and broken the Flash is. I would take a killer Flash over a killer Superman any day.
That'd be a quick series.
Yeah.
It would. Well, there's one comic where there's always this thing that goes in DC about Superman and the Flash or race, and there's one a couple of years ago where I think I forget the Justice League wanted the Flash to come in for something, and he was like, "No, I gotta do this," and Superman was like, "Look, Barry, I ain't trying to, I'm not trying to embarrass you and all, but I'm almost as fast as you, if not as fast. Like we've run races," and the Flash looked at him and was like, those are for charity, Clark. And like, boom, like so he just left him in the dust. And I was like, oh yeah,
that
was
makes
my
sense.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. So, the question was, is she moving as fast as him while he's moving because she was able to snatch his
Mhm.
goggles off. So
Starlight.
Oh
Or
well, no.
no, Kimiko.
Yeah,
Kimiko.
Kimiko. Yeah, the female of the species, because he was carrying her. He was carrying her, running
oh,
away or whatever. And while she was being carried or whatever, she went and snatched his glasses off.
well,
Scratched
So
his face.
I
yeah, his
imagine no
face
matter
off.
how fast you're moving, your head's still in the same place. So like,
Mhm.
Yeah. And if she's already connected to him, it's probably easier for him, unless he was like,
Right,
right now, if she wasn't connected and she just snatched it off his, when he's running by or something, I think
right.
that'd be more impressive.
So I
yeah,
guess because he's carrying, she's being carried by him, she would be obviously moving as fast as him.
she'd be able to gauge. Yeah.
Mhm.
And she's probably
Um,
faster than a normal human too. You know what I mean? She's probably has better reflexes than us.
Right. So I'm sure that would help.
very helpful.
But he did
Um,
fuck her up though.
he fucked her up bad. Like when he started doing, so that was like in the raid redemption when he slammed that dude's head down the wall, which is probably my favorite scene in
The
the
first
movie.
raid, yeah.
Yeah. He slammed her head down the wall, but he did it in super speed. Like,
Yeah, that was just brutal to watch.
I don't even know how she was conscious after that, but but I mean, I guess, superpower or whatever.
Super healing.
Yeah. So basically Billy is like, she's a super, let him kill her.
Hmm.
And Frenchie is like, no, like he's the humanitarian of the bunch, and he's like, we can't. Like, if this is even her fight, it's not her
Hmm.
fault. And so, even though he knows that he can't do anything to beat A Train, the only thing he can do is draw attention. So he's like, oh my God, hey everybody, look, it's A Train, it's A
Hmm.
Train. So then everybody starts looking, and A Train is like,
Like, oh, hey
hey,
guys.
like that scene in Ace Ventura when he's fucking up the mascot. And then they're like, and let's give a big thanks to Ace Ventura for rescuing Snowflake. And like the camera pans on him, and he's just like punching the funk out of the mascot. And then he looks up like,
Like, oh.
And I really like that because I like smarts. I like how you have to outthink a situation versus just brute force. To me, it's more clever and more interesting to see like a Doctor Who approach than just a random fisticuff brawl, because like he knew how to use the situation and what was at hand to his advantage.
Mhm.
It always kind of reminded me like that's one of the things I liked about the Doctor Strange movie, is that he out thought the big bad at the end. It wasn't necessarily a head to head
Beat
fight,
him up, right?
right? And so him like, all right, we
for
obviously
him to
can't
fuck
stop him,
down.
right?
Yeah.
But we can. All right, look, da da da. Da. I love that. That was such a cleverly written thing for the show. So hands off to the writers for that.
Hands off.
Oh, hats off. Sorry, I still got
They
with
can't
the
write, and they can't
girlfriend.
write anymore.
Now they can't
Hands
write
off.
shit.
No, damn it!
Why?
I did so well.
Oh, I'd be a terrible ruler. Hey, I really enjoyed that show.
Hands
Headphone
off.
guard,
Hands
tell the
off.
right hands off to the writers. Hands off, heads off, sir.
I
Hands
said
off.
what the
Yeah,
fuck I said. You
man, the
got
quality of
it.
this, man, the quality of this show really went down. What happened?
Oh gosh. Like, well, I mean, they still have talk to text, so
Right.
um okay, so that was basically episode 4. Um so we will pick up episodes 5 through 8. I don't know when. Probably next Tuesday. Somewhere in there. Um Yeah. So thanks to Mo, who had to drop off early because clearly he did not expect us to be talking this long. Thanks to Kris and Ant. And I forgot to say it last time. Shout out to my childhood friend Ramar for saying, please do a review of the show. So we have listener, at least just one.
Yeah, thanks to everybody. Hands off to all y'all. Hands off to all y'all.
I got some coworkers who listen in, so shout out to you guys. Thanks for supporting us.
Thanks for
And
supporting.
even though I'm just a guest here, but yay.
Yes. Well, you know me, so. You
And Agent
family.
Johnson, thanks for following me to this too. I will helicopter later when I'm going through my living room. It's
Okay, guys. We'll be back soon.
All right.
Ant will have his pants on.
I was supposed to wear pants.
Does he have pants on now?
Okay, Earth 2 out.
Hmm.